All righty. Let's see. Cool. I'm going to share my screen on here. If somebody could just let me know if my screen share works, because, you know, computers have a mind of their own. All right. Let me know if you can see the screen, if somebody can just give me a wave or a yes or a thumbs up in their chat. I'm hoping. Kawan, can you see me?
Yes. Yes, I see you.
All right, cool. So I appreciate you guys jumping on. We'll get started. If other people join, we will let them in as we go. But we're going to talk a little bit about AI, and we're going to talk about ways to use AI, how to embrace it. I had a lady I talked to yesterday, and she literally said, well, once AI gets their act together, then I'll start using it. And I was like, lady, you missing the boat. Like, it's like literally riding past you, and you are missing it. But that was her opinion, and so be it. So I salute you all for jumping on and taking some time to learn some more about artificial intelligence and how we can use it in our business. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Joe Soto. I always joke that I'm a husband, father, all-around good guy who also does mortgages, not just a loan guy. But I've got a mortgage team here in Cyprus, really good team. We do some solid business. If you're not connected with me on social, please do so. You can scan the QR code, and you can connect with me on social. I'll also put my Instagram here in the chat in case you wanted to connect with me there. If I could figure out how to use it, I will throw that in there. And then at the end of this, we're going to ask for help. If you found some value in this, all I ask that you connect this with somebody else who might want to join us on the next meeting. If you know anybody who would benefit from this, maybe your office manager, maybe a team leader, we can do this presentation in an office. I think it's super, super valuable stuff because we're all trying to figure out AI and how this monster works. And so really, I don't know if anybody out here is currently using, but if you're currently using AI and you have access to the chat, I'd love for you to tell me what you're using, what programs, what do you have experience with. It'd be great to kind of see, but AI is not coming because AI is here, right? And I think a lot of people talk about AI being here to replace us. I don't think that's true. It's funny, I saw a video, I don't know if anybody had seen it. There was an agent who did a video, and it said, AI is here to replace you. And then it was the agent, putting in a for sale sign. And there was the agent walking into a home inspection. And it was the agent putting out open house signs. And it was the agent opening the door to show the property, right? Like, there's all the human things that we need human touch for that an AI bot cannot do, right? I just thought it was really great play on that theory that we hear so much about, like, AI is here to replace everybody. AI is not, but agents utilizing AI are going to take market share. It's going to make us so much more efficient and to be able to do more with less, because let's be honest, as real estate agents, one of the things that we struggle with is time, right? One of the things we struggle with is how do you hire more people, right? Because that's another expense, and this business goes up and down. But AI really is going to help you leverage your time and do more with less time, which is amazing. And keep your costs really, really low. So according to NAR, it looked like most agents are using ChatGPT, Gemini, some sort of Copilot, Grok, Claude, and Notebook and DeepSeek. Those were the most popular programs. Again, I think a lot of people are using chat. And we're going to talk a little bit about chat and making sure that you're utilizing it properly. And this can be overwhelming because it's a lot of information. So I urge you to not get overwhelmed. But I do want to give you a couple of tactics that I think you can use. So for those of you who have been on my classes before, you know that I'm all about not trying. I try to give a lot of information, but I want you to just pull one or two things that you can take with you from this hour and go, I can do that. I can, like, this is doable, Joe, right? And just look for those one or two things that we're going to share with you. Don't feel overwhelmed. right? It's not something you're going to pick up everything right now. Um, I will tell you, if you do not have the ChatGPT app, download the app to your phone. Don't just have the website on your phone. Download the app. If you're in front of a computer, you can take a picture there and download the app. If you're on your phones, please, please, please download the app. I will tell you that downloading the app has been a game changer for me. I have full-on conversations with my ChatGPT. It's like a therapist. I literally asked it a question, and it was so funny. I hurt my shoulder working out. And typically, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, but I literally went into ChatGPT and I was like, so I've hurt my shoulder and I can't do overhead presses anymore. It seems like I have some tightness in my lats and in my shoulder. I can't figure out where it's at, but can you help me isolate the problem and give me exercises that I can do to help give me some range of motion so that I'm able to lift my arm up above my head? And it was like, here you go. This is what you have. Obviously, you should consult the doctor, and it gave me this crazy routine. So download the app because the app is amazing. We're going to have you take some notes, and I'm going to send you out the recording. I'm also going to send you out the transcript from this. And the reason that I'm going to send you the transcript is because you can literally take this transcript and put it into ChatGPT and have it give you some bullet points on what you can do, right? And I'm going to show you a little bit about how that works, right? And so if you take notes, if you're in front of a computer and you take notes, take as many notes as you can, and then you're going to put those notes into ChatGPT. And here's what you're going to tell it. You're going to tell it, I finished a powerful real estate workshop. I've got a ton of raw notes, goals, and ideas in front of me. I want you to act as my business strategist. That's a key. I want you to act as my business strategist. Take everything I give you below and turn it into a complete personalized real estate business plan. Break it down into my vision, my audience, strategies, action steps, tools, systems, blah, 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 right? And so you can see here basically what we're going to do, and I'm going to send this to you guys too, is we're giving it a very detailed prompt, and we're going to talk about prompting. Prompting is like giving great detailed orders. I was going to say barking orders, like my wife barks orders at me, but that wouldn't have been really nice if Joe would have said that. But really, it's how you can give direction. And so you can see the old way of doing it would have been like, hey, I've got these notes from this seminar I did. Can you summarize them for me? Versus act as a business strategist. Take everything I give you and turn it into a personalized real estate business plan, right? I've got a list of real estate prompts that I'm going to send you as well that agents can use for different things in their business, whether it's organizing their database, whether it's organizing their calendar, how to get more listings, how to work with buyers, like all of these different things. I will send that to you as well. And so this is what it does, right? So ultimately, that's what you're going to do. You're going to ask it to think as a performance coach and take these notes. Now, when you're talking about the AI capabilities, right? AI allows you to understand, create, engage, enable, and empower. These are the 5 things that it works on. And here's how the equation works, right? There's a really great equation when it comes to utilizing Chat, GPT, Chat, Claude, Grok, any of those, right? And so 20% of the activity is your strategy, your tool, your prompt, the information that you give it. 60% you let AI do the work. 20% is where you clean it up. So I don't know if those of you have used, Chat or Grok or Claude in the past, right? You give it a command, and then it gives you an answer. And at the end of that answer, it says, if you would like, I can also create a detailed, report for you based on this, this, and this. And you say, okay, cool. Can you do that? Like, it's really funny, but that's the 60%. AI does the work, and then 20% is where you tweak it. Yes, please do that. Hey, how about that? And it's wild on some of the things it tells you it can do and some of the options that it gives you. So, again, we talked about searching versus asking and input versus output. Prompting is very important, and I talk about search versus ask. So the example I gave you earlier was about my shoulder, right? And in the old way of doing it on Google, you would say, I've got some tightness in my shoulder, what do you think it's from? And it would have said shoulder tightness exercises and given me some stuff, versus that paragraph that I told you guys about, that I literally said everything that was going wrong with my shoulder. I can't do overhead presses. I have no range of motion. It gets numb. It feels tight here, here, and here. Like much more detailed request, right? Much more detailed ask is what we call it. So your input is going to give you great, great, great output. The more you utilize any of these AI tools, the better you're going to get at prompting, right? Prompting is the key, because as you start to use it, you're just like, help me create a good idea to market this property, right? And then you start, give me an idea to market this property to move up buyers. And then you're going, give me an idea to market this property and create an Instagram, story about this property that's geared towards millennials who might want to buy in this neighborhood because they love Long Beach, right? And that just comes with time, guys. I will tell you that the more you use it, the more you're going to get better at giving better prompts. Because initially we've been so programmed to use Google and just have one-word asks, right? Find me a restaurant in Orange County, right? Versus, it's my wedding anniversary. My wife really loves seafood. We've been to these kind of restaurants in the past. I'm looking for a place that I can take her that's not too expensive, that's going to be like that type of search, right? So the prompt is super important. And here's the framework to a good prompt is you give it a role. Who do you want it to be? You give it the task. You give it context. You give it format. You give it constraints. You give it questions. I'm going to give you a breakdown on how that works, right? So the best prompts are commands, not questions. For example, how we did it the old way is, how can I follow up with a cold lead? Okay, cool. And you'd get some answers, right? Some Tom Ferry things would pull off of Google. Maybe you see some Mike Ferry, other coaching programs, things like that, right? Like that's what Google would give me. However, if you're giving a good command, a good prompt, here's what you would say. You would say, act as an expert inside sales agent in the real estate industry. Give me step-by-step instructions for following up with cold leads, including text, call, email scripts, as well as frequency, right? That is completely different than, how do I follow up with a cold lead? And what I did here is I actually ran that prompt, and I'm going to show you what comes up when I do that. So bear with me. I'm going to share my other screen with you. And this is like mind-blowing when you see what it gives you based off of one little prompt. Unless my computer is really slow. Expert ISA. Why is it not coming up, Joe? Oh, there it goes. Okay, hoping y'all can still see my screen. Cool, you're acting as an ISA in the real estate industry to follow up with cold leads. I got you. I'm going to give you tight, high-converting ISA follow-up system to plug right into your team. Here's the framework. Ask questions, provide value, create curiosity. Here's the texting, the follow-up campaign. Day 1, call, text, and email. Day 2, text. Day 3, call. Day 4, email, right? Boom, 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 boom. Here's your follow-up. Text, right? Here's the text message as soon as the lead comes in. Here's day 2, text. Here's day 3, day 5. Here's day 7. Like, it's literally giving you what to send to the person that you met at an open house or wherever and how to follow up with them. Here's a script. Hey, this is Joe. Heard you inquired about buying a home. Did I catch you at a bad time? Right? And then here's the transition. And here's the conversation. So it literally is walking you through. Here's a texting campaign. Here's a phone call. Here's an email campaign. Right? It's pretty, here's the email campaign. It's pretty wild that in literally 30 seconds, it gave you, here's the email that you send on day 1, day 4, day 10, right? Then there's some advanced tactics and things like that. And then here's the bottom, right? If you want, I can build this into a workflow. I can create a manual and automation that you can add to your CRM, or I can script this specifically for different types of leads. So again, this is just one example of using this for ISA lead follow, like for a cold lead follow-up system. You can see how off of this prompt it gave me all of these ideas. This would take us forever to figure out. So I urge you to play around with different prompts and different things like that, because it's pretty wild the way it gives you some of these things. And let me know if you guys have any questions on that stuff. You can shoot it in the chat and let me know. But I thought that was really cool because it's crazy when you think about how long would it take you to come up with a texting campaign, an email campaign, and phone scripts. Here's how long it would take you. Never. You would never, ever do it, right? You would look at the leads and never have a strategy. But this is giving you a strategy to follow up with these leads, right? And it's improving your conversion at the end of the day, which is the most important thing. So I thought that was super duper awesome. I love that little prompt, because lead follow-up is super important. All right, scrolling through. We're going to talk about how to use ChatGPT, how to show up in ChatGPT and get results. So one of the things that's really becoming more popular is something called AIO, right? Artificial Intelligence Optimization. I almost said SEO, but SEO is old. AIO. And so what that is when people search on ChatGPT or Grok or Claude, and they ask for a real estate agent, well, who comes up, right? Like, Tammy, if you do real estate agent in Cyprus, who comes up? If you do real estate agent in Long Beach or Los Alamitos or wherever, who comes up, right? And the key is, how can you push yourself to the top of that? How can you optimize your online presence to show up? And there's ways to do it, right? So we'll talk a little bit about that. And so here's what you need to know is that chat does not pull from ads, sponsors, or paid placements currently. I'm sure there's going to come a time where people are going to pay and your ads going to show up on ChatGPT. It generates recommendations based on patterns, reputation, consistency. The reputations change on location, budget, audience goals, and tools, right? So that being said, look under the hood, right? Chat is looking at reputation, consistency, quality. I love consistency. I feel like consistency is the most important piece of it. Popularity, niche expertise, right? There are riches and niches. I don't know if you've heard that before. And so as I've been talking to people about this, you can't just say, I'm your Southern California realtor, right? Yes, you might be willing to go to San Bernardino, Riverside, any county, anywhere, but you really need to have specific cities in all of your bios online. You need to have very specific information out there, because chat is going to pick it up, because people, when they search, they're not saying, I'm searching for a realtor in Southern California. They're saying, I'm looking to buy a home in Lakewood because I want to be close to my parents, and we're going to be moving from Buena Park, and I want to find an agent that's familiar with Lakewood and working with move-up buyers to help me sell and buy my home. Boom, right? Like, you want to come up under Lakewood. You want to come up on in regards to sell and buy, right? Like, I don't know, I know thousands of real estate agents, right? The best client in the world is somebody who's going to sell a property and buy a property. Why agents don't have that in their bio anywhere, I don't know. But that's one recommendation I would have for everybody on this call, is looking at your bio and making sure that those specific words are in your bio. We specialize in helping people sell and buy. We help people buy non-contingent. We help people. We help move up buyers, right? Like, those are your best clients. High conversion, great money, right? You're going to get paid because you're going to sell and buy. So that's a good one for you to put in there. So riches in niches, okay? And then fit for the user situation. Again, like I said, let me see if that's on this slide here. Joe. You want to create AI-friendly content. So if you have a company, whatever company you're with, if your website allows for blog posts, allows for Q&As, allows for you to share articles, right? Like that on your company website would be AI-friendly, right? If you're sharing information about schools in the area, parks, community stuff, all of that AI is going to grab, okay? The other thing is building your trust online. So what I love, what I'm going to tell everybody here to do is to look at your own online presence, right? At your own profiles on Zillow, on Redfin, on Homes.com, on HomeLight, on Fast Agent, on Facebook, right? All of these different sites, and look at how does your bio look on all of those sites. And I will tell you that if they look all different and they're not consistent, you should make it like your goal in the next 30 days to update those bios and make them as consistent as possible and as specific as possible. And what I put in here, what I put here is very important. Talk about your reputation. How long have you been in the industry? Talk about your consistency. Talk about what areas you focus on. Talk about your niches, right? Be very specific when you're redoing those profiles, because I'm telling you, that's what ChatGPT is pulling, right? The other thing I did here, as we're talking about this, and I'm going to share, is making sure your Google My Business page, your Bing pages, your BBB, your LinkedIn, like all of these have a consistent message that, Tammy is the person to go to if you're looking to sell in these specific cities. I work, Cypress and surrounding cities such as Buena Park, Stanton, Los Alamitos, right? Specific cities. The other thing I will tell you, and I'm going to share my other screen with you here, another little hack is okay. I came back over here. So I did a search here, and hopefully you guys can see this, of I'm looking for a real estate agent in Buena Park. Who would you recommend? And here's who it gave me. These are the people it gave me in Buena Park, right, that I was searching for. What I tell you to look at, and do this in your own area, right, is down here it says sources. Hopefully y'all can see this. And sources, it will tell you where ChatGPT is pulling these most recommended people from Zillow, from Yelp, from Realtor, from Fast Expert, from Rate My Agent, right? Hopefully you guys can see this on the right. And so as I look at this as an agent, I think I need to make sure that I have updated profiles on all of these sites. If this is where ChatGPT is pulling its data from or its information from, then I have to be dialed in on these websites because I want it to pull me, right? I've had a number of people call me about bank statement loans. I had a number of people call me about the Dream for All program, and a couple of them that literally said, hey, I'm looking for a Dream for All lender that's close to me, and boom, I came up, right? Like, because I have that information in my profile and I'm all over the Dream for All website. But this is a great tip for you guys, For you people who are on here, I'm telling you that you should, in the next 30 days, optimize your profiles on these websites, and you can literally see where this is the cheat code, where ChatGPT is pulling the information that they're going to recommend agents based on. Pretty dang awesome. And then what I did, and then I asked it, where did you pull this information? How did you do this? Right? How can I become more visible? Like, you can literally ask it, and it will tell you what you need to do, which is pretty dang amazing. Again, let me know if anybody has any questions on that. I'm going through this and I'm looking at the chat, but I just want to make sure. If you do have questions on any of that stuff, please, please, please let me know. Cool. We talked about optimizing your profile, making sure the About You section is complete, it's consistent, it's specific. Try not to be general. You could have general serving Southern California, but you should say specializing in, and then name off 10 cities. Who cares, right? What I would do is not name off 10 of the smallest cities. I would not put La Palma, because La Palma is a tiny little area, but I would put Long Beach, Anaheim, right? Like, those are the two biggest cities in this area. Huntington Beach, you want to put bigger cities so that there's more likelihood of you getting seen. Cool. And so the more places your business appears, the more the AI trusts you, and the more confidently it will recommend you. We're going to touch on a couple of other little tools that we like to use. I'm just going to share two, because if I share like my top 5, your head will spin and it'll be nuts. But there's two that I love. One is Notebook LM, and one is Plod. I use my Plod all the time. And let me know if anybody on here has a Plod. I would be really impressed. But the Plod is the greatest invention ever. So Notebook LM is a great program that will help you get your listing and buyer presentation dialed in. Every agent in this world needs a really, really, really good listing presentation and buyer's presentation, right? It is not a matter of if you need one. It's that you need one in order to survive. And so I urge you to check out Notebook LM. Upload your current presentation, right? Throw it on in there. Put in information that you want to explain to buyers: purchase contract, consultation, loan programs, market stats, your checklist, right? Anything that you have to create it into a PowerPoint. It's going to help create a PowerPoint for you that you can use for your buyer presentation. Pull information from my online reviews. Here's the things that I want to touch on. I mean, it is so dang good, guys, and it's in its early stages, but I'm telling you, I just had it create a presentation for me. It took me about an hour, and I was blown away. I was like, dude, this is really, really good. So I will urge you that if you have a buyer presentation or you have a listing presentation, put it out there and say, how can I make this more compelling? How can I make this more like me? How can I make this more fun? How can I make this more serious? How can I make this appeal to engineers? How can I make it appeal to first-time home buyers? Like, you can literally tweak it, the pictures, the look, the layout. It is really, really good, and it's a great way for you to freshen up your listing presentation and your buyer presentation. It's like literally a no-brainer. Here's an example prompt that you would put in there. Create a buyer presentation based on these documents, including slides explaining the home buying process, financing options, timelines, and what buyers should expect during escrow. Notebook LM is going to organize the information into a structured outline. I'm telling you, your mind will be blown when you see what this creates for you. And if you do something like this, if somebody out there does this, I would love to see your finished product. I'd love to know like what your finished product look like, know if you like it, if you hate it, because the stuff I've created on this thing is wild, really, really wild. Step 3 is going to generate the slide contact. It turns it into a 10-slide presentation. 4 is you're going to add personalization. Step 5 is you're going to export the slides to PowerPoint or Google Slides. So I've given you the 5-step process in regards to creating something in Notebook LM, right? Upload your documents, ask ask it to build the presentation, generate the slides, personalize it, export to PowerPoint. So I'm going to send you this as well. Those are the 5 steps. I urge you all, go in there, mess with your own presentation, get it dialed in. And then Plod is the greatest thing in the history of the world. Best thing since sliced bread. I think that's what we used to say back in the day. But Plod is a device that you can connect to your phone, or you can wear it on your shirt. I have the shirt one here as well. It's a pin. And basically what it does is if you go into a buyer consultation or a listing appointment, it will record the conversation, the audio, and it will also give you an AI transcription, an AI transcription of the conversation, literally with you doing nothing. Literally going to take it so you don't miss anything. So you sit down and meet with a seller and you talk about 15,000 things and you want to make sure you don't miss anything. Boom, Claude got your back, right? So it automatically will audio capture, it will transcribe it, and then it will summarize it, right? It generates concise summaries, visual mini maps. It is awesome. The summaries that it gives you are amazing, right? Oops. And then what you do is you take the summary and you put it into ChatGPT and you say, I would love to create an email to follow up with my client based on the meeting that we had. Give me the bullet points and next follow-up steps. And it will literally take it, create an email for you to send to the client. Thank you so much, Susie. I appreciate your time. Here's what we went over. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything, blah, 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 blah. It takes you 3 minutes. Like literally copy, paste, enter, there you go. You've also got something for yourself so that when the client says, I don't know, I don't remember that us talking about that price. I thought we wanted to list it at higher. Right? Or when they say, oh, I was pre-approved and I said I wasn't going to do anything for another month or 2. Like you have the audio of the actual conversation, which is really, really cool. You should ask for permission to record if you're meeting somebody in person. So you want to make sure you know, hey, I'm taking some notes on this. Is that okay? I've never had anybody say no. So that's a great, great tool. Every buyer presentation, every listing appointment, you should do that. You can also take it if you wanted to go next level. You go on a listing presentation, and let's say it doesn't go good. Let's say you don't get the listing. You can take that recording, take the transcription, put it into ChatGPT, and say, I want you to analyze this. I want you to be real. I want you to act as a tough, tough coach, and I want you to tell me where it was, what I could have done better, or where it was that I lost this listing. And it will hit you between the eyes and give you the information, which is also super cool. So again, Plod, if you don't have one, I would say put it on your Christmas list, but Christmas is a long time away. But every agent should have one to CYA and to use with their client meetings. It's a no-brainer. Cool. And then just a couple of takeaways, right? AI is not going to replace agents. Agents who use AI will replace those who don't. Systems and AI help you scale. They give you time. They buy back your time, guys. It's really, really wild how it buys back your time. And you don't need to master AI. You just need to learn how to ask it better questions. Like literally, that's a big part of this. And again, we touched on a couple of different things, right? I would say the prompting was the first thing that we touched on. We talked about how to be found in ChatGPT, and that's a whole nother thing, making sure you're optimizing your bio. And then the last thing we talked about was Notebook LM as well as Plod. So 3 different things. I would love for you to be able to take one of those things and say, you know what, I'm going to work on this. I'm going to throw my buyer presentation into Notebook LM. I'm going to work on my bio on these different websites. I'm going to download the ChatGPT app and start using just the app instead of typing in stuff. Any of those, would help, are key. If anybody needs more help or wants more help with any of this stuff, you want to go deeper and kind of like, hey, Joe, like, how about my own stuff? You could scan the QR code, schedule something for later in the week. It might have a time open today, but today's kind of booked. But if you wanted to schedule a time to meet and dig into this stuff, I would love to help you because I love to nerd out on this stuff because we're using it to help a lot more clients, right? We're using it to help our buyers. We're literally recording our conversations and making sure we have great communication with people. So it's awesome stuff, and anything I can do to help you guys, I appreciate. I'm here to do that. Cool. And then the last thing is, again, connect with us on social. I put my thing in the chat. If you want to follow me on social, that'd be awesome. And if you know anybody, I know mostly everybody here, but if you if you have an office meeting and you want to come talk, you want me to come talk about this, I'd love to. If you have another realtor friend or buddy that you think would benefit from this stuff, let me know. And if you have any clients, anybody that we can help on the mortgage side, right? Anybody who needs a second look, that has a question, we do this thing at a really high level. We're here to support you and help our agents win. And so I am grateful for everybody's time. We're going to finish up a little bit early. Any questions? Before we wrap up, I'll hang if anybody has any questions. I know mostly everybody's been on mute, which normally happens on Zoom.
Joe, I don't have a question, but I would like to thank you so much. This information is so awesome. I took a lot of notes, and I
Cool.
have stars all over when you said about our profile that don't be afraid, or we should have a specific niche and look to specialize in clients that are looking to buy and sell with no contingencies. I can tell you, in all my years of doing this, I never thought about marketing it that way and putting those two together. I'm always saying looking to buy or sell, looking to downsize, looking to do this, but sell and buy.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm
like the
kind of
dream client.
transitioning into a senior real estate specialist,
Mhm.
looking for those folks that want to sell and buy. Like that you have that program with the contingency. So thank you so much. This is very valuable information. It's
Awesome. Well, I'm
all for
glad you liked
free.
it, and
So I thank you and just pray that
yeah.
I have success as I try to.
Yeah, we're all trying. We're all fighting the fight, right? I feel like the playing field is pretty level with a lot of this stuff, but knowledge is power, right? So taking some time to jump on and learn some of this stuff. And again, like I said, even just those one or two little things, right? Like in 40 minutes that we've been chatting, it's hard. Like it's overwhelming to think you're going to do all of it, right? Like that's not reality. But again, if you do one or two, it's a huge win. And if you want to set up a time to kind of dig into this more, just for your own personal stuff, just reach out to me and we can get that on the calendar. So cool. Well, I appreciate everybody's time. And any questions, just feel free to give me a call. See ya.
Joe, thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.